Hello folks and welcome to OurGame. Myself James Davison, joined as ever by Michael Verney and brought to you by OurGameRetro.com. Use the promo code OurGame and you get 15% off. Look at that little beauty that Michael Verney is wearing there from Orga. Look at this. Tipperary, as you know, Tipper back. We won't talk about that straight away though, because you were at Wexford Park over the weekend. You thought you'd been sent to the bogey game, and it turns out to be absolutely incredible. Wexford beaten by Westmeath in the championship for the first time since 1940.
Unbelievable, Shano. Yeah, like it looked like a bogey on the way down. It looked like a bogey at half time. They were beat by 16 points at half time, and you're just thinking, like, there is no way in the world that Westmeath can turn this round. Like, there's literally no hope. This is an unassailable lead. Wexford will win by 20 plus. And it was just the most remarkable turnaround in the history. It's the greatest comeback in the history of the championship by all records that I can find, and by chatting to everybody that knows anything about record taking within the GA and within history. 4 goals in the second half, and you could just see the wheel turning, but it was turning slowly enough starting off. And Wexford butchered a couple of goal chances. Jack O'Connor missed a penalty, really poorly taken penalty. He'd be really disappointed with it. Missed a goal a minute later. Noel Connolly pulled off a save. Then Niall O'Brien gets a goal in the 62nd minute. Then Niall Mitchell comes in, and like literally the bear in the square is back after what I saw in Cusack Park yesterday and after what I saw in Wexford Park yesterday. He comes in, gets 2 absolutely unbelievable goals. And it's no smash and grab or anything like that. They win the second half by 18 points and are deserving winners. Like, it's not, a goal at the last minute, maybe like Derek McNicholas last year to grab a draw, and Wexford didn't have a chance to respond. Wexford had a couple of chances to respond, were unable to do so. Shane, I swear to God now, I'm a bit of a fruit when it comes to hurling. Like, I had to drive up the road about an hour before I started work because I was incapable of working. I was literally like this. I couldn't believe what I was after seeing. I swear to God, just even chatting to people after. It was the most extraordinary thing I've ever been involved on or been privy to in the GA. It was bonkers.
How many people have that in their job where they're going absolutely, like you are there, you're going absolutely nuts after a game and you can't even work? How many people have that experience in their job?
Yeah, I don't know now, to be honest with you. It's gas. I was sitting beside a referee's assessor, a lovely fella actually from Ross Gray, and I was chatting him throughout, and I hit him an out nudge every now and then. I said, "Jesus, Westmeath are coming back into this." Then you get a goal, and geez, like, and they're in it, like. And he was assessing Chris Mooney actually, but he was kind of getting lost in the game as well. It was just mad to see what was happening, and I don't know if you've ever been involved with a team or been involved in the line or even on the pitch when you just cannot stem the tide. You just cannot stop the bleeding. And Wexford were unable to do that yesterday. And they have serious question marks hanging over them now. But I think that needs to be parked for a couple of minutes. And just the achievement that Westmeath pulled off yesterday is absolutely remarkable stuff. They obviously drew with them in Cusack Park last year. But to score 5 points in the first half, all frees from Kieran Doyle, and then to score 4-13 in the second half, the vast majority from play, including the 4 goals. To lose Darragh from between the 55th minute and the 65th minute, be down to 14 men, and to still win the game is just unbelievable, really.
Yeah, you have to give huge credit across the board there. And like Joe Fortune, I mean, what an achievement for him as well. And this is, an ex-Shamrocks man from Enniscorthy going down there, and he would have been hugely motivated. His record against Wexford in the last year and a half is a draw and a win with Westmeath, who obviously, we kind of gave the record they hadn't won in 83 years there against Wexford. So that's incredible. And also one of his backroom team as well is Rathnur's Richie Flynn. But he said afterwards, I was just really honest with them at half time. I said, we've nothing to lose in the second half. We have families and supporters coming down here. And I just felt we were embarrassing in the first half. I just felt we were too restricted in our play. I put it to them at half time that it was embarrassing. And I said, there are people down here that are paying good money. And do you want to leave a legacy as the best Westmeath team ever? It was the first time in the dressing room that I felt, was I a bit too harsh with them? And did they really believe me? Just go and hurl for the second half and cut these things of systems and shapes and puckouts. We're hurling people, and the more you get caught up in these systems and setups, go and hurl and be a man and get the ball in quick and let our forwards do the job. So, obviously he was fully fired up at the end of the game. I'm sure the system didn't totally go out the window, but they obviously played brilliant stuff. And on the other side of things, look, Liam Sheedy and Jackie Tyrrell last night on the Sunday game, they basically said, we're talking about the players. And obviously, incredibly awkward situation for Liam Sheedy there because, you're talking about Darragh Egan, one of his former players and backroom team. So he doesn't really want to cut the manager. But a lot of the bucks rest with the manager. And I think we probably have to, let's call a spade a spade. This will be, kind of the end with Darragh Egan and Wexford. It's hard to imagine it won't be.
Yeah, just come back to that in 1 second. Just, I think Joe Fortune said he kind of half intimated that he smashed the tactics board at halftime. He said we might need a new tactics board, so I took that to mean that he might have went through it for a shortcut. They played a sweeper against a breeze that was more significant than I realised when I went down on pitch side. David Glennon played sweeper. They went orthodox right from the off at the start of the second half. They'd 1-4, Shane, within about 3 or 4 minutes. No reply. And Darragh Egan, I could see him getting a bit jittery on the sideline. And he said after that he wasn't even happy at half time, even though there were 16 up. And then, as I said, the wheels started turning. A couple of little decisions maybe went their way. And they produced one of the most amazing things of all time. From a Wexford point of view, I'd say there will be some public outcry. I know Martin Storey had some harsh enough words after they were beaten by Dublin, but this defeat, blowing a lead, it's not as if they didn't show up. They showed up for a half and then just almost looked like they were going to try to coast to the finish line and just make sure that they were in good shape for Kilkenny next week. And maybe that got into their psyche as well. But there's no excuse from players or management for a defeat like this, really, and to give away such a commanding lead. There was a couple of ones I thought were interesting. Dermot O'Keefe came on in the 71st minute. Thought that was strange. I don't know, like if the tide was turning as it was, and everybody could see the tide was turning. Surely you bring him in around the 55th minute or so and just get on a couple of balls or whatever. Particularly they needed protection around the D, because all Westmeath's goals, 2 of them were two breaks around the D. The other 2 were in high balls. Kevin Foley started against Dublin, was one of their better players at times, was a sweeper at different stages as well. He didn't feature at all yesterday. There's going to be an inquiry of all inquiries down in Wexford, because they go into this weekend with the prospect of, if they don't beat Kilkenny and Antrim beat Westmeath, which there's a fair chance of both of those results happening, that they're down at the Joe McDonagh Cup level. Like, I not been smart. Offaly went down to Joe McDonagh and deservedly went down on the back of a lot of heavy defeats, and we needed to go into transition and rebuild. You wouldn't say Wexford are at that stage or anywhere close. So, and Egan had most of his best players available to him yesterday. So there's going to be a hell of a lot of head scratching going on down there.
One Stop Auto says, lads, the Wexford County Board have to take a lot of blame. Running off the club championship last year in 7 or 8 weeks, finished way before everyone else. Nothing then for a couple of months. That's a good point, interesting point. Conal says, do you think many of the Wexford big players will step away from the panel if they get relegated? Like, here's the thing, right? If they get relegated, they're still going to be playing Division 1 next year. So they're going to have great preparation. And instead of playing a Leinster championship, which everyone says isn't as competitive, they'll play a Joe McDonagh. They'll absolutely smash everybody there, and they'll be in a preliminary All-Ireland quarter-final. So it's not like they won't be in the championship next year.
Oh, yeah, you're finding the silver lining, in fairness to you. But by Jesus, I don't think anyone would be looking at it that way in Wexford, realistically. Like, Shane, you have a team here and a county here that won the Leinster Championship 4 years ago. And you have the prospect of them, like they ran Clare really close in the All-Ireland quarter-final last year. Now you have the prospect that they could be playing Joe McDonagh Cup. We'll chat about it more on Thursday's show, but how do you get a team up that they're literally in their boots at the moment? How does Darragh Egan get them up to produce something next weekend? And it'd be fascinating to see if they can, because this is one of the lowest lows that they've hit.
Yeah, Adrian McGrath says, Darragh Egan has been a huge help to my home club in Scariff, an absolute gent, so it's tough to say that he really should be considering going now. The atmosphere in Wexford Park could be vicious. I'd imagine it would be.
They need to get behind. They need to get behind them, Shane. I will say that. And Leo will tell you this. Wexford were outnumbered probably 5-1, I'd say, in Dr. Cullen Park the other night. So the Wexford faithful definitely need to get behind them now more than ever.